G'day guys, there is no better tool for upper body strength than the Olympic rings. And in today's video, I want to introduce you to a new skill to me, the Pelican ring curl. Let's get into it. I've been working out on rings for about 4 years now. I started with dips, pull-ups, the basics. Then I learned how to do the false grip. I learned how to do a muscle up. Then I learned how to do a front roll. I started learning shoulder stands, L-sits, things like this, and then how to combine them into flows. I'd never actually really seen or heard of or even tried the Pelican ring curl until 2 weeks ago, and I saw someone doing it from a horizontal position, and I assumed that because I've got some fundamental strength there and some familiarity with the rings, that I'd be able to maybe give it a go. And I was shocked at how hard it was. It was impossible for me to get back up. So today I'm going to look at the progressions on how to build this up. I've got a bit of a plan for how I'm going to get there. I'm going to share that with you. I'm working on some timber rings today. These are 32 millimeter timber rings. I bought these on Amazon. They were pretty cheap by a company called 5 Billion. What I love about these is they've got a nice big fat clip. This is super important if you're going to be taking them off your spot and moving them around. I've had a few different sets of rings in the past, and this really is the most important thing that could make or break your sessions, because if it's too hard, I've had some where little thin crappy clips, and if it's too hard to get that in and out, it's just a deterrent from using them. So look for that. I'll leave a link to these particular rings in the description below. They also come in a 28 millimeter, slightly thinner version, also in timber. Make sure you get timber. Don't use plastic or metal or anything else like that. And the 28 millimeter ones, the smaller ones, they're really good for, I find, when I'm doing flows and things. But anyway, it's personal preference. I like these big fatties. I'm going to be using them today. Let's get into it. The rings are super demanding on the upper body, so a good warm-up is recommended. This is a nice warm-up that hits the target areas, the bicep, the front delt, the chest. Choose a distance that you can manage. The wider, the easier. The closer, the harder. What I'm looking to do is take an overhand grip. Do not let that grip roll or slide. That's cheating. And with straight arms, I'm going to lift the stick, shrug high, elevate through the scaps, externally rotate through the arms, and down. I'm really fighting hard to keep my grip. I'm getting a stretch through that forearm, the bicep, and back over. I'm going to do 10 of these. Elevate, shrug, externally rotate, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and down, and back. What I'm trying to do is avoid arching, keep that spine straight, and a little bit of posterior pelvic tilt. Like so. Pelican ring curls require a false grip, just like a lot of other ring skills. So if you're unfamiliar with that, let's have a look at what the false grip is. The easiest way I find to start the false grip is on the side of the ring. Get a good handful of it. Get a good handful of it. Then what you want to do is flex the wrist and then rotate the hand to the bottom position. And what you'll see is here, can you see that? My hand is still up on top of the bottom of the ring. Contact is being made with that bony part of the bottom of the wrist on top of the ring itself. And what that means is we can get ourselves back up on top. And then we fold back down like so. What you don't want to do is slip down to this position. If you're here, you can't get it back. You have to hold on tight and keep the top of the bottom of the wrist on top of the ring. Does that make sense? The top of the bottom? God, I didn't explain that well, but you know what I mean, right? Just keep it like that. Because these are new to me, I'm starting off with a progression that I can manage for around 8 repetitions, which is the Incline Pelican Curl. So this will give me a chance to feel out the position, what the arms are doing, the sequencing of the movement. Let's take a look. I have the rings at around hip height or just slightly above. Putting my hands out nice and straight, I can lean forward. Obviously, the higher the incline, the easier these are. What I'm doing is dipping in, sending my hands back towards my hips, externally rotating my hands out, and then dropping down with my false grip still intact, pulling up and reversing that position. Okay, so what I just found out on my first set was my level of incline was a little ambitious for 8 reps. I had to make an adjustment and go a little bit more vertical in order to get the repetitions in. I'm still feeling out the timing and sequencing of the mechanics. What I noticed is when you pull in for that dip, there is an externally rotating section of the movement that can make it a lot more efficient. So I'm just playing around with that, getting a feel for the false grip, and also starting to get a bit of a pump in my upper body. Oof. Second set down, and I'm starting to get a bit of a pump here, especially in the biceps. So an observation I've made is there is a point of no return. If I go to full lockout of the elbow on the way down, it is really hard to get back up. So I've just been practicing keeping just a little bit of a slight bend in the elbow, and I can get back up much easier. So that could just be a tip for me to just go to that point of no return just before it, and then I can keep working the concentric part of the skill. What I like to do when I'm doing any sort of strength training is to pair or couple my strength drill with a mobility drill. So today for my first working set, I'm pairing the Pelican Curls with a Jefferson hang just to really lengthen through my hamstrings, open up the backs of the legs and that posterior chain. Let's get into that. Jefferson hangs, pretty simple. Keep the legs dead straight, feet together, and then round through the spine. Choose a weight that is challenging and will add some load, but that won't hurt you. So I've built up to this 24 kilogram dumbbell over time. Start off nice and light with these and really just hang there for 60 seconds, really stretching through the backs of the hamstrings, the calves, and through that whole posterior back chain. Since this is the first day that I'm training the Pelican Curls, I thought it would be wise to get a reference shot or a reference clip of the full horizontal attempt. So I'm going to attempt a full horizontal Pelican Curl now. I've done 2 sets of the Incline Pelican Curl, so I'm relatively warmed up. So let's just see where I get to. So absolutely no chance of getting back up. I think some of it probably is the patterning, the sequencing of where the hands need to move, but there's also just a huge strength deficit. So I'm going to be working with these for the next 6 weeks. I'm going to record it. I'm going to do 2 sessions per week with these inside of it. And then we'll see where we get. I'll do another video in 6 weeks time and just we'll compare to that test where we get to. So it's a pretty simple workout today. I started off with my Pelican Curls paired with the Jefferson hangs. So I did 4 sets of Pelican Curls, 8 reps, and then I did 60 seconds for my hangs. Second, I'm going to do ring dips. I'm going to do 10 reps of my ring dips, and I'm going to pair those with a thoracic stretch, another mobility opener. I'm going to sit there for 60 seconds. I'm going to do 3 rounds of that, and then I'm going to finish with some ring chin-ups, touching my thumb to my chest, and I'm going to do 8 repetitions of those chin-ups. I'm going to pair that with a nice straddle up mobility drill. Workout done, and I am feeling more jacked already. I'm going to get shredded and just jacked over the next 6 weeks. I can feel it. Follow along for future videos. I'm going to do updates on those Pelican curls, as well as share more of my workouts. So if you got something out of this video, hit the like button and subscribe, and drop a comment below if you've got any questions. Help me spread the good word about what it feels like to feel strong and mobile and healthy and happy. And I'll see you in the next video.